And good evening, everyone, and welcome to TriVersity Talk. I am Steven Bloomer-Teague.
And I am Wendy Stewart Kaplan, and thank you for joining us on this beautiful spring evening. What a day today.
What a day today. What a day yesterday. Oh, my God. I played hooky all day long. Richard had me moving dirt around, which was lame. But then I sat outside in the sun, looked down at my legs today, and was like, oh, I've got color.
You got yourself some color while you were out there, didn't you?
Indeed. You can't tell for all the ring lights, but
I know it's just a total washout. Well, I have to tell you, Steven, I love TriVersity is doing these field trips now, and we did our first field trip to Tamerlan Sanctuary, and somebody that's been on our show, Cookie Dough or Michael Voigt, actually leads the tours there. And a shout out to Michael Voigt. How great a time did we have, Steven?
I had a marvelous time. I mean, just learning about the good work of Tamerlan and what they're doing for these rescued farm animals. It's just so amazing. And I never realized that some of these animals, just how personable they were. I mean, tell the story about the turkey and your husband.
The turkey, I'm in love with Norman, and Norman was a turkey that when Cookie Dough told us Norman was going to be escorting us, I'm like, oh, come on, it's a turkey. Norman, if you watch, Steven, every barn we went into, Norman was there. Any fenced area, Norman was there. But the piece de resistance was coming out of the last barn. Alan had to stop and rest, and he rested for 15 minutes, and he wasn't with us. And I also noticed Norman wasn't with us. And I went to look for Alan, and who was standing with Alan by his side by the fence but Norman. So, ladies and gentlemen, a turkey. Who knew?
Absolutely. I mean, but again, just such a great experience. And I encourage all of you to learn more about Tamerlan Animal Reserve. I don't have the link in the comments, but if anybody's on that wants to find that link and post it, I will definitely put it on top of the screen.
And it's in Montague, New Jersey. It's easy to find. So yeah, make sure you take a little trip there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Wendy, let's go ahead and introduce our guest tonight. I am so excited for this.
I am very excited about our guest. I was at a birthday party at Rock Bar a couple of weeks ago, socially distanced, but still a party. And this beautiful, I'm going to objectify him. This gorgeous ginger man came in, and he was as nice to talk to as the way he looked. And I found out he was a singer. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I've seen you. We've been on Zoom shows together. Without further ado, let me introduce the fabulous Kyle Motsinger.
Hello.
Hi, Kyle. Welcome to the show.
Steven, hi, Wendy. It's good to
How
see
you. How are you? Great to have you here virtually tonight. Although I must admit, it's better in the flesh, but we've all gotten so used to being virtual these days.
We're so close. We're almost there.
Yeah, we're so close we can almost taste it. I mean, we were talking about how the CTC just said July 1st we'll be able to be outside without masks. So that's cool.
Well, actually now we can be without masks. July 1st was actually when the city's going to open up.
The city will totally open up, right? Which is really great. Now, I imagine for you, Kyle, my God, this year, you're a singer and you're a songwriter. You're a performer. What the heck was this year like for you?
Well, the good thing about this year was that it was a time to be creative. And I'm an introvert. And even though I pretend that I'm not, so this was a good year. I mean, it's bittersweet, as I was saying earlier. It's bittersweet but I was able to go as introverts go into the woods to create the art, and then we come back out of the woods and deliver the art. So I think it was a good year to just sort of hunker down and write some music. I came out with a new album.
That's all so incredible. I mean, because many creative people this year, especially if they were introverted, they shut down. You know,
extroverted. Introverts kind of crave this to an extent,
right?
But extroverts, I mean, just think, Wendy. I mean, you are, I think, the epitome of extroverts.
I am the epitome of extrovert, but this for me was the most unbelievably creative. I have a whole new career now. I'm a totally different person because I woke up, as many of us did. They shut down New York City March 12th, and March 13th, I realized, like you, Kyle, you didn't have a job, you didn't have a stage, all right? Everything that you had trained for and everything that you loved and were passionate about, it's like, whoa, ho, wait a minute, what happened to our audience? Gone.
But the good thing is though, you know, because as an independent artist, I think, and you know, any kind of creator that isn't under like a major record label or something like that, we do often have to work other jobs to pay the bills. The good thing, again, bittersweet, was that I wasn't able to be at my catering job. So I was able to actually take more time this year than usual.
Right.
Really like sort of figure out, okay, where am I with my career? What can I be doing? So it actually gave me a little bit of a getting ahead with music. So.
And really being able to go into yourself and ask yourself, you know, where am I going and what am I doing? Now, I'm curious because I saw you in some of Chauncey's Zoom shows, Freak Out. So was that your first time really having to play to the camera and no audience? Because for me, it was. I never did this kind of thing before.
Yeah, I mean, I think before we started doing the digital freakouts, I think I had done a few other little shows last summer, perhaps, or before that. And so, but you know, again, nothing replaces a live audience.
Yes.
So it is tough, but it has been able to sort of up my video content game. So
good for you.
Yeah.
I tell you, if your video content has improved since the pandemic from the videos you have on your website, then my stars, because videos you have on your website are absolutely amazing and the quality is perfection.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that. So overall, Kyle, you are a bubble of positivity, and we just love that. So I'm going to ask you how. You know, what's your MO? Did you grow up in this like incredible supportive background that makes you like this, or is it part of your disposition?
A little of both. I mean, there was support, but it's also just sort of my disposition. I think I just have always felt really positive. Really, you know, that's not to say that I don't have my moments where I'm down on myself about things. We all go through that as artists, especially. But I think I definitely did have support. You know, I did community theater, and I come from theater. My degree was in musical theater, so I spent many years in front of audiences getting feedback and knowing what works. And that, you know, hearing an audience laugh at something you say or, you know, clap wildly after you sing a high note is really fantastic. And of
course.
And you know, now that I'm doing my own music, you know, hearing people like message me stories about how a song has touched them in a certain way. Wow. It just keeps me going and keeps it worth it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle, your songs seem listening to them, they're very uniquely personal, and you do seem to take something. Every song I listen to, I was like, wow, I've learned something about Kyle, or I've gained a message. And I mean, yeah, just taking inspiration from your songs is such an easy thing to do.
And talking about, you know, your videos, Steven, I'd love to see Kyle's clip.
Oh, do we have a clip? I guess so, since I'm the one that's going to play it. So Kyle, tell us what we're about to listen to.
Yes, so this was sort of my last summer song. We were in quarantine, but I was able to do like a safe music video that is both in my bedroom and in a few other bedrooms. And I wanted to celebrate body positivity, and we're all beautiful. It's something that I've had to tell myself, and I was hoping people would also enjoy that message. And the song is called No Shame, and it features Melody Betts, who's a fantastic Broadway actress. And she's on tours, she's on Waitress, she was in The Sound of Music, she's Mother Abbott on tour.
Wow.
Fantastic. Well, without further ado, folks, let's take it away. One second, then let's try.
I was sexy, this body that I'm in.
So we're going to try because I don't want anybody to miss this.
We're cool.
There we go.
Let's do it.
Didn't think I was sexy, this body that I'm in. Felt so abnormal, red hair, ghostly skin. Then a strange thing happened, my different became cool. My fire is desired, the exception's now the rule. I love my furry chest hair, hashtag ginger beard. Blue eyes you could get lost in, these lips should be revered. My body is beautiful, tell myself every day. My body is beautiful, no matter what critics say. My body is beautiful, no one can take that away. My body is beautiful, can't tell me that I don't slay. I love my body just the same, I'm telling you I have no shame. No shame,
Amazing.
And so that was also that was drag queen in New York, Lyra Vega, and that was Larry Darnell and Whitfield, a friend of mine, in the video.
Okay, that's fantastic. So there's a lot to unpack in this song. I mean, there's such a story, and I mean, with the overall message of body positivity.
Right.
But you start off saying you didn't think you were sexy. I mean, why is that? Is that what?
That was my first question when I saw it. I'm like, is he out of his mind?
Well, no, I mean, because it's like when, especially growing up, and I've said this all the time. I think that growing up a redhead, I didn't like my red hair when I was younger because sometimes you get made fun of for it. Because, to be honest, you don't look like the other kids sometimes. I mean, there was very few redheads in school. I mean, there were a few. But especially for boys, I think, like, being a redhead is not considered very sexy when you're younger. And it really took years to really kind of appreciate it. I mean, now it's like, gone. But it's still here. I really, I started to appreciate the fact that I was pale, They also sort of do, you're supposed to be tan and you're supposed to, be super muscular and everything. And so I think it was, for me, it was that. It was also, I wanted to show people in the music video that were also beautiful people that are beautiful in their own ways. I think we're all sexy and gorgeous. And as long as we're happy and healthy, I think you just need to rock the body that you're in.
Right. But I guess, Kyle, for you, it was a lesson learned, like, eventually, I'm curious, as an actor, you had this red hair and you went into the acting industry, where I would think, like, being a ginger really makes you stand out and can get you cast in roles. So all of a sudden, instead of being the odd person out, that you would be desirable.
Well, I did a couple of years when I was in college auditioning for summer stock, and I didn't get cast anywhere. And I'm not a huge dancer, so that could have been a part of it because I think they want to do everything. But honestly, sometimes I think being very unique might be a bit of a hindrance in certain things. So when I moved here, I did get cast. This was pre-beard. I did get cast in a show called Frankie Nancy at Broadway, which was a good show. But I originated that role, and I'm in the cast recording. and that was great. But the one thing that was really good for me is like when I started writing my own music, it sort of felt like I could always write something that I would write for, that I was writing for. So I never have to worry about being right for the role of
I think, and you know, Steven, this is something talking to performers that I found, and this is myself included. I started doing my own thing. That's what the pandemic did for me. Instead of waiting for an agent to book me or a casting person to call me, all of a sudden, you know, it was silent. Oh, I better get myself out there, and I have to figure out the best hook. And that is obviously what you did. As Steven said, your videos are wonderful on your website. So, you know, somewhere along the way, you discovered the you.
You sort of have to. I mean, the thing is, I know a lot of creatives, a lot of performers who, you know, sort of give up after a while because they try very hard to be what someone else wants them to be. They try to fit a mold, and then they kind of give up when they are fitting that mold. And I think there has to be a point where you either create your own art or you find someone that can help create art with you. I think, you know, I know that there are people that like right out of college like get discovered in like book roles and everything. And that's fantastic.
Oh, please. That doesn't happen. It just forget it.
So sometimes you just have to make opportunities for yourself, and that's in any field. That's not art. That's like, you know, getting a job or whatever. You have to get what you want.
Right.
I mean, when it comes to kind of body positivity or just being unique, do you think there are particular pressures put on you as part of the gay community? Because somehow I always seem to think, and maybe this is true across the board, but that we gays can sometimes be very judgmental on certain bodies and certain mannerisms. And I mean, have you encountered that, and how do you deal with that?
Oh yeah, you know, I've been really well embraced by the bear community, even though I think sometimes I'm a little bit more awkward than a bear, but I guess you know helps. But you know, I think there's a certain again, this goes back to the same. There's, you know, this idea that we're supposed to be these muscular like bodybuilders,
muscle bound.
Yeah, and I love that. And honestly, you know, I am like trying to work out for my own health and to, you know, to have, you know, a little bit more of a sculpted body. Like, I think there is pressure to look a certain way, and I think that's why, you know, people are getting like, you know, steroids and things like that. And, so I guess the long answer, the short answer to the long answer is yes.
So I'm curious, Kyle, what was it about the bear community? Bears were something, because I've been involved with your community for over 40 years. And 40 years ago, honest to God, there wasn't a bear culture. It was so few and far between. And then bear culture started coming up. And initially, you know, I had a house in the Fire Island Pines. That was the first time I met some bears. I didn't get that at all. And I'll tell you why. They were like a straight guy. They were like every straight guy that you didn't want to go out with because they, like, you know, might eat soup from a can or something. What I embraced about gay culture, you know, with fabulous, flamboyant gay men. And then I met bears, and it was a totally different thing. Now I've done a 360 in that, my God, my bears are my brothers at this point. It's such an incredible the loyalty in that community. It's just unbelievable. So I'd like to hear it from your perspective.
Well, that's just it. I mean, I feel like the bear community has been so welcoming to me in a way that you know, sometimes other communities haven't. And I think it's I think bears and Leatherman and community and all that together, I think we're all so nice and welcoming and understanding, and there's not the judgment of body size or type, you know. And I just think, you know, they're just nice guys, you know. I really do think so, and that's just what I've gotten, and that's why I really I love them so much, because they've been so good to me.
So what is an otter?
Question of the day.
I mean, an otter. Well, you know, sometimes I feel like I need to write like a redo of that Britney Spears song, "Not an Otter, Not Yet a Bear." Or, an otter is someone who, I guess, like hairy, but like probably maybe similar. Although depending on how many donuts they eat, I could go between one. Yeah, I mean, you know, and some of these like categories are a little silly, you know, but I've always embraced like being an otter or soft bear. You know, I'll go by either.
I had this funny moment. I was on Fire Island with my husband, and he was introducing me to an old housemate of his from years ago. And he said to me, "Oh, I know him. Your cute, round, otterish husband." And I'm like, okay, so I'm good with two of those, but I don't know what we throw the round in. But I love the term otter. I just think it's great.
Well, and otters, the real actual otter animals are adorable. I mean, they make little sounds, and yeah, so.
Yeah, others are just as cute as could be. So I recently found out about Bear Magazine, right? Now you've been written up in Bear Magazine. Tell us about that magazine.
So Bear World Magazine is fantastic. And he might be watching Richard Jones.
Hi, Richard. Nice to see you again if you're watching.
Richard has been fantastic. And you know, just I think I sort of was really hard to, as an independent artist and even as a gay artist, to get press and to get somebody to really write up things that you're doing. And I've had some really great instinct, and I've had some great time with other places. But Bear World is beautiful to me, and been excited, and you know, Richard said, you know, whenever you have something new come in, let us know.
Oh, very cool.
And it's so nice to feel like somebody supports you. It really is.
Yeah, it's great. And that was the first time I heard that there was like a magazine for the world of bears. It's like, should be, right? That's really great.
Yeah, well, they don't do print, but they do digital. But
yeah.
That's great because they're able to like pump out content faster, you know.
Yep, absolutely.
Print. I don't even remember.
I know.
What is print? I know, right? It's just. So, what do you think is going to change most for you going forward after this year of the pandemic?
I think this summer is going to be for me the most I've performed really ever, and so I'm really excited to come out of a period of time where I haven't performed really at all, to now so many opportunities are coming up. I'm going to be in Provincetown performing a lot.
Oh, love it.
I have my Club Cumming show on June 6th. Come see me.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm totally going to be there.
Oh, great. And I just found out for the rules, they're going to let people start sitting at the bar at restaurants. So that means we'll have some bar seating.
Yay, finally.
Oh my gosh. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's like this has been, do you think, like, I actually feel, even though it was a breakthrough for me this year, I'm definitely scarred by this pandemic. I still in my head, you know, as much as I'm playing it forward and it's been an incredible year, I still in my mind go back to, it's an enigma to me that such a thing could happen. How could such a thing have happened?
Well, and I wrote about it in my album. I wrote a song called Siren, which was about all of the ambulances zipping past my apartment.
I remember that, Kyle. That was like it was what, like the middle of March. Steven, I think I told you it was day and night, and I think it just left me scarred.
It you know, and I read in the song that I was never afraid of sirens. I actually come from a family where like we in our small town in Illinois, if an ambulance went by on the highway past the town, my mom would be on the phone to my grandma saying, like, "Did you hear that siren?" Like, they would have the police scanner on, the police scanner, yes, and I'd be like, "What's going on?" And so when I got to New York, it was I sort of tuned it out because it's just like more noise. And during the pandemic, it got kind of scary, and for the first time, it was scary to hear that ambulance sound every 5 minutes.
It's like Steven, I've told you, there's people, TriVersity is located in Milford, Pennsylvania. We service the tri-state area, but there are people out by us, even people that we know, that I'm sitting and explaining what happened, and they look at you like you've got two heads because they don't know anybody that had COVID. They read about it and they're getting the vaccine, but they don't know anyone. That is so amazing to me because in the city, it was like so many people got sick here.
Yeah, and any place that you have a big population, and I'm sure that the cities were hit badly in the Spanish flu pandemic.
Yeah.
Anytime something like and in the 80s, the HIV/AIDS pandemic, cities would get really badly just because there's so many people together. So small towns, I do think probably were not as affected by it, thankfully. But it is, I can attest, and I know you can attest, that this was a very real thing that happened this last year, and very scary.
Right, very.
I know people, and I know people who just this last year, sadly.
Wow, incredible. Now I'm curious. This is a question for both of you. As an ambulance goes by outside my window.
Oh my goodness.
A question for both of you. You're both from small towns, right? What drew you to the big city? Steven, you go first.
Law school was my, I thought about moving to a city, but I applied early admission to Columbia and I said, this will never happen. And it did. And so that made my decision for me. And so it just led to a huge adventure. So that's what brought me to the city.
But you just brought up something. You were up for a huge adventure. So, not everybody would be, right, up for a huge adventure.
Yeah. I mean, I had gotten my culture shock from going from my small town to the big city in my state. So I didn't think New York would be that big of a switch, but it was. Still, it was an exciting time.
Kyle, what about you? I mean, you come from a small town in Illinois. Now, I don't know. Were you more suburban where you grew up, or was it farms?
It was farms. It was 500 people in my town.
Oh, wow.
There were how many people?
500.
Wow.
If that even. I think that was an old total. Yeah, it was small. It was farm. There was no stoplights in my town. It was the smallest. I went to college for musical theater, and that was a bigger town, and that was a little bit of a taste of, because we had people from Chicago that came down to that university. It was Western Illinois University.
Okay, that's a regular, that's a good sized university. Yeah.
And we, I visited Chicago a couple times, and I had originally thought about moving there, but it felt like Illinois. It still felt like the Midwest. It was a big town.
Right.
I visited New York once, and I was like, this is where I am. It's where Broadway was, and for somebody who wanted to do theater or down theater, it's the perfect place. And I also knew I didn't want to write music, and I wanted to be somewhere where I could, do music things as well. So this just seemed like the best place. And also, as a gay man who was in the middle of nowhere, Chicago could have been fine too because but I also just wanted to be in New York where I could be myself. And, when I got here, wow, was I able to be myself?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing I've heard from everybody. I was born here in a borough, but I'm a diehard New Yorker, and a lot of us have been hearing New York is done and the pandemic finished it. It's not going to come back. What is your feeling about that?
Oh, I think that's completely wrong. I feel the city coming back every time I walk out of my apartment now.
Me too.
You know, like I see, like I'm up in Washington Heights, Hamilton Heights area, and I see like restaurants coming alive. I see people doing outdoor dining and people just like chatting, and I see, like I said, Law and Order was just near me, and like the things are happening. And even when I go downtown to the Village, you know, I'm able to go to Marie's Places again and do things again.
Oh my gosh, I love Marie's Places.
It's fantastic. It really is fantastic to be able to be out and about and really enjoy it.
Oh yeah,
it's so good. I'm having a blast again, because you know, the first few months of the pandemic, I pretty much stayed inside. I went out to run, but I stayed inside and I wrote music. And now it's good to see people again and make connections again.
Yeah, I totally agree. The vibe is completely different, and this vaccine was really pivotal we had to have this to really change things.
And you know, this whole thing made me also rethink. So I'm, like I said, I'm an introvert, but I think in the past, before the pandemic, there would be times where I wouldn't go out, and I would use being an introvert as an excuse, even though I maybe didn't need to rest by myself. Maybe I could go out and see friends. So it's made me realize that I need to really just like grab onto life.
Yeah.
It's, as we saw this last year, it's so precious. It can be taken away so quickly. So we really just need to start living while we're alive.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kyle, were you brought up in a music-oriented family? How did you get into music and music theater in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, there was no theater in my family per se, but my dad played drums, my mom played keyboard, so I inherited the piano.
Okay.
I think, and my brother plays electric guitar and is fantastic at guitar. And I played trombone in band.
Oh my goodness.
All the way through my senior year of high school, and actually, my band director was mad that I wasn't going into being a professional trombonist, and
Wow.
but I just loved singing, and I loved, you know, acting and all that. And I've been thinking actually lately about buying a new trombone. But my neighbors were like that. But I've been, yeah. So and it was around, and I had my grandmother, my mom's mom. She was so supportive of me and be in the front row of every musical I did in for every play. And so I had a lot of support coming at me from family and friends,
Which is great.
Yeah, so it really.
No, that's terrific. I mean, especially because you're in a small town, which is never known to be kind to folks in our community. So to have that support, it's vital. I mean,
really wonderful.
Well, we luckily had a playhouse called the Fulton County Playhouse in Illinois, and it was a theater, and it was just this like old barn that was turned into a theater, and it was so magical to me. Like
Steven, how cool would that be if we had something like that in Milford? Wow, that is
definitely.
So great.
It was just really wonderful, and I got my first show was Charlotte's Web. I was one of the baby spiders. and it really, I think without it, I wouldn't have kept up with it. And I had many wonderful voice teachers and directors just saying like, "Oh, great, like keep going," you know.
So I guess in your school, they were pushing the arts, that you had all that at your disposal.
Yeah, I mean, like most schools, I think in the middle of the country, it was, you know, it was very football and like sports focused. But we did school musicals every year. We had band and chorus. I remember my chorus teacher taking us to see Phantom of the Opera when it was here in Computer, Illinois. And so there was still, you know, there was a few people that were like, yeah, sports is great, but like you need to be going to see a musical. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
No, not everybody should be playing football. And when you have a talent, you gotta.
Yeah, I find
Yeah.
so, Stephen, it's so true. I find though a lot now with the schools, like out in Milford, Delaware Valley High School they really push sports. However, their theater department is blowing. I've seen some of the productions, and a lot of those kids go on to not only great colleges, but they're well prepped for theatrical careers. And that's, kudos to our school for doing that. Too often now, especially in the urban areas, they've gotten rid of the arts programs, or they've minimalized them. And what is so important is soccer and football and softball. And by the way, I didn't do any of that. I've been an artsy girl from way back. That stuff never turned me on. I can't even watch a football game to this day, only to look at the guys playing football. That's all. I could care less about the sport. But they've gotten rid of a lot of the arts in the schools, and I think it's so detrimental. Here, you came from this, this little town, but you had such incredible support, and to be able to be performing, on a farm in a barn, what a wonderful memory for a kid to have.
Oh yeah, and I'm thankful for where I come from. I really am. It made me appreciate things, and and obviously, very conservative areas, so they're definitely have my issues with things like that. But I did get a lot of support, and actually, I went back a couple years ago and did a concert in my hometown area.
Get out!
That's so cool.
Yeah,
you're the success story for them. You're absolutely a success story, and what a wonderful role model you are for other kids that are coming up.
I hope so. That's the big thing, and I've sort of told, I've had people question me that are more conservative, saying, "Well, why do you label yourself as a gay singer-songwriter?" And I tell them, because there's a kid somewhere in Illinois or Iowa, some other state, that really needs to see me and see other gay singer-songwriters and say, "Hey, I can do that too. Look at him,"
I see. I didn't question your reason, but you telling us this tonight, that's so great. Really, because that's going to influence somebody that, just especially an adolescent when you're not so sure about what's going on. And then you present yourself, hey, look, successful gay singer songwriter. It's great. I'm happy. You can be too. How cool is that?
Yeah. And there's a reason why I write a lot of songs that are like anthems that are about body positivity and about other things. I talk about mental health on my first album a little bit, like struggles, and I talk about things on this new album that I think are important. Love on Each Other is a big song. I'm sort of in the hippie, but I think we need more love in this world. I see your sign up there, Steven.
Yeah.
We do need more love in this world.
And so, for me, like, I have no problem. My next single is rather fluffy and fun and doesn't have like a huge message to it. But as much as I can, I want to like say things that matter in my music, because I hope somebody's listening.
Well, yeah, if people aren't listening now, this is going to go up on YouTube, and you can share it to your blue in the face, and people listen, and you'll get your message out there. And as you know, it's all about paying it forward at the end of the day. What do we have if we can't pay it forward, right?
Exactly.
So, are you involved? I always like to ask people this. Are you involved politically with politics, like in the gay agenda, which could be Pride, it could be the center that we have on 13th Street?
Yeah, I need to get more involved in the center. That's something I'd like to do. I'm very involved. I'm pretty, I'm pretty well spoken about the fact that am liberal and a Democrat, and I believe in equality, and I believe in equal rights, and I do the best I can. I wish that I could afford to donate more to causes and things, but I do my best to try to educate people. Yeah, and and I try to hopefully write things in my music to, and I do my best. And it has turned people away. Family members have sort of stopped talking to me about it, unfortunately. But I believe what I believe, and I believe that,
Right.
I believe that we should be, loving on each other, and doesn't matter, race or orientation or gender or identity.
Right.
I feel very strongly about that, and I do the best I can. This last year, I think I could have done even more, but one thing good to come out of the pandemic too is that we started talking about Black Lives Matter more. Unfortunately, due to the murder, but I'm trying to use my platform as best I can, and this has made me think about what my part is in this world as a white cisgender man. What can I do to help? And I still, would love more ways that I can help and be a good ally. And, I've been working really hard on that, and I'm going to continue to work hard on fighting for justice. And yeah.
And
I think also, yes, go ahead, Steven.
I say, and the things you talk about are things that really go beyond what we think of as partisan politics. I mean, or at least they should go beyond what we think of as partisan politics. I mean, social justice is a value that it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent. We should all value a more equitable society for everyone.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think of the things that I've been fighting for, I don't think are Democrat or Republican. I think it's just decency, being a good person. I think it's important that we all start having these conversations, whether we're Democrat or Republican. And I think we're starting to have those conversations, which is fantastic.
We are now in a supportive environment where we can, all of us were always having those conversations.
Yeah.
But over the last 4-year period, it was particularly challenging. There was, and I don't care who you are, there was so much ugly stuff that happened. And, we're now in a different place, and a positive place. And I think it's now we can really start to talk about equality on a big level. I know, Steven, we've been talking about it here. We were at town hall about the Equality Act, Kyle, on on a live stream, and of wonderful speakers. These people that were speakers, it's going to be pivotal for everybody's next move to we have to build a better society. We have to.
We do. I mean, I've had people lately tell me, I've been, dealing with this my whole life. Nothing's ever going to change. And to that I say, why not? Why can't it?
Right.
I refuse to believe that we can't make a better world. I refuse to believe.
I love this. Right.
Yeah.
Well, if we say that we can't, then what are we doing? I mean,
right, exactly. Yeah.
Merely existing. I mean, we have to believe that, and we have to fight for that and pursue that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I 2 questions for you, Kyle. First of all, what sign are you?
Oh, Capricorn.
I got it. Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
That's the reason for that, and we hadn't ever talked about that before. So, are you in the middle of the month?
I'm December 30th.
Ah, okay.
I was like the last baby of the year in my hometown area.
It's great. The last baby of the year, and I'm the last model standing, according to my book. But you definitely, you have that whole Capricorn thing about you. And it's something that you just said, though, because there are people that have been so beaten down, honest to God, that they will turn around and say, why bother? So what's your special words that you say to somebody to lift them up, to let them know that there's a tomorrow and that every day we're on this earth, we can change something going forward?
I think it's important to just let people know that, like, we have changed things already. Things have already changed. They may not have changed as fast as we want them to, but things have changed. Things have gotten better. And there's no reason to think that they can't keep getting better.
Right.
And it really just depends on each of us. You know, it really takes one person and another one person and all these people to come together to make change happen. And it really does start with us. So, and I understand being tired and exhausted and feeling beaten down. I get it, because sometimes I feel the same way.
Right.
But so feel that for a little bit, and then pick yourself up. And
right.
And worth noting too, there are many platforms that you can use to pursue social justice. You can use your music. I mean,
perfect.
An affirming preacher can use their sermons. I mean, there's just so many different things. It doesn't mean that you're always holding out a picket sign. Just doing your small part in your day-to-day lives to make the world a better place for all of us.
Thank you for saying that, Steven, because it's really important to bring that out. Being an activist doesn't always mean, as Steven said, holding a sign. You can sign petitions, but also who you are as a person and what you can bring to the party through your poetry, if you do spoken word, your music, your songwriting, your Steven piano playing. These are all incredibly positive things that we can do. I really feel that we're about to go into this whole renaissance. Arts are a very healing thing, and I think they're going to explode now. I think that, I do think the time is right for it.
Oh, yes. I think that we are about to, because this happened historically, everything repeats itself, it seems, So it seems like historically after the Spanish flu in 1917, was it?
Yeah, it was in 1917.
Yeah. I mean, the 20s happened right after that. The 20s was a big time of like party and arts and, all this music started coming out. And I think there's no reason why that's not going to happen now. I really think it's going to happen because I already see the idea of like people want to, when we come out of this pandemic, out of this plague, I think we're going to be ready to really just, like I said, just grab onto life and start creating. There's been people that have been creating this entire last year and we didn't know it. And then suddenly we're going to release the greatest work of music or music, and I think, I know Frankie Sharp is opening a new club.
Oh yeah, let's. Oh my God. Oh, Steven, this was huge. And I know about this because I'm doing a show. Frankie's going to be on the show, and Frankie Sharp and two partners are opening up a 4-story club in New York in the West 50s. Listen, not that I won't say anything bad about Brooklyn. I've had great times there, but that Uber, the $28 Uber, oh please. The money that you spend at the bar and then the Uber home, and you leave the club in an industrial area and there's like 40 Ubers out in front because there's no way to even get out of the neighborhood without the Uber, and you get in the wrong Uber, and I'm so over the whole Uber. West 57th Street, 4-story club, and they plan to have like different rooms and different DJs. It's really going to be incredible.
Yeah, like a combination club, cabaret space, and all this stuff.
Love it.
And then I know another person who wants to do, who's planning to open a gay bar in Hell's Kitchen that would have live music and then dancing and whatnot. So I think we're going to see, even though I think the city did have a lot of places closed this last year and everything, but I think we're going to see like a new renaissance of new things opening, and I think
Absolutely.
it's going to be good. I think ultimately it'll be really great.
Fantastic, right? Steven, do we have any questions for Kyle?
We don't have any questions. So, guys, we're running out of time. So if you have a question, shoot it out there for us. Now, we did have the username Naked Highway on.
I love that. Let's hear it.
Love Kyle's music. So we got some.
Sai from Naked Highway, which was I don't know if you've heard of them. They're a duo.
Oh, cool.
I love it, and they're supporting you, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Naked Highway. Thank you for tuning in. Do they perform naked?
I don't think so, but probably pretty scantily clad. I think but they do have a song called "Off Your Clothes."
There you go.
There you go.
Off your clothes on the Naked Highway, or maybe just scantily clad.
Yes.
I just love it.
So Kyle, we talked about some of your upcoming performances, but I mean, in terms of the broader future, what are your plans?
I want to create more music. I don't want to create the same album again, so I'm excited to see what direction I go in. The next single is called Retro, and it kind of goes along with my love of sort of retro vintage looking clothes. And it'll be very funk and disco and a fun summer song. But then after that, I don't know who knows where I'll go. Maybe I'll do something really like script tech. And I want to write a musical.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm thinking about a few things, but I've been wanting to write a musical for a couple of years, and I've had a lot of people tell me that my music would lend itself well to the stage. So yeah, I want to really, more than anything, is just get the music that I already have out to people that would love it. And that probably means me like performing in different places where I can get to people. So I just want to spread the love.
Well, you're going to have an audience that's going to want to take the love. So there you go.
Good.
Absolutely. So Kyle, how do we keep up with you after this interview?
Yeah, so I post a lot on my official Facebook page, which is facebook.com/official Kyle Motsinger. Oh, great.
I didn't even know that page. Okay.
Yeah.
Hodgepodge as it comes up, but
I think you tagged that page, so I think
Is it?
I think you tagged it. And then Instagram @Kyle Motsinger. I have a website that's www.kylemotsinger.com. Those are the main ones that I started a Twitter, and I don't really do Twitter, so I don't really keep up with Twitter. I should.
Oh, don't even get me started on you know what? I went on there today to complain about the lines at the Capital One Bank, and I looked for who corporate I could get in touch with. I'm going to tell you what Twitter is good for. You're very famous. Then you can already get lots of followers, so you don't need to be on Twitter, right?
Yes.
The one thing that it's good for is if you have a complaint against anything corporate, they all have people that are handling that. They don't like that bad stuff. So I put up a huge complaint about the snaking lines at Capital One Bank, that a lot of the seniors are online with canes. You don't keep elderly people 45 minutes, okay? I put that up there, and I already got a load of responses. I got to tell you guys, that was my first successful Twitter post. Other than that, I don't get Twitter at all either. Are you on YouTube?
I am. What would I don't know the offhand. If you just type my name into YouTube, you'll find me.
Okay, cool.
And you can find all my music videos there.
I want people to be able to see and hear you, which would be great.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, I can't remember. It's like youtube.com/c/Kyle Motsinger, I think.
I think if we just put your name in, though, it should probably come up.
Yeah. if you put my name in, you'll definitely find me. I'll be the
Well, Kyle, we are at the end of our time. So is there anything else you'd like to share before we sign off tonight?
No, just like if you're interested in seeing me in New York, come see me at Club Cumming. Look on my any of my platforms. There's a reservation for seats because right now there's still limited seats, but I do hope by June 6th there won't be as limited of seating. But come see me. I'll be doing a lot of new album songs and some fun covers, and I'll hopefully have some guests. And if you're in Provincetown for Bear Week, there's a siren again. If you're in Provincetown for Bear Week, I'll be there at Tin Pan Alley and the post office, which is newly reopening. And I'll be there the first week of August. So, and stay tuned for my new single, Retro. There's so much happening.
Yes, there's so much happening for Kyle Motsinger. Yes.
Yes.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Real quick, the website name for Tamerlane Farms, we did get it. It's tamerlane.org. So if you're interested in that, tune in. And thank you again, Kyle. Thank you, Wendy. And thank you for watching. And we will see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And now